all these questions come back, and we quite often hear people talking about measuring success and measuring campaigns. So it's really important to plan out what you're doing. So I've got a really quick kind of 2-minute 7-point list for you just to think about. And if anyone wants to kind of go into a bit more detail about this one-to-one, happy to do that another time. And again, make it really relevant to you. First is to really think about, well, what are your goals from this campaign? What is it you really want to achieve? And lots of you have been familiar with SMART goals. If you're not, go and Google them. So it's goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and within a time scale. And there's loads of information on the internet about those, but make it specific, not just I want to sell more. Now, what do you want to sell, over what period of time, and who to? If it's about brand, you can measure. There are ways to measure how your brand awareness is growing, engagement, and things like that. So set some really specific goals. And again, if you want to kind of go through that one-to-one, I'm more than happy to. Number 2 is think about your target customers. Who is it that you're wanting this campaign to actually talk to? Think about them, their lifestyle, what they do. If you're B2B, what positions do they have in the companies you're trying to target? What kind of sectors are they in? How do you reach those guys? If it's consumer stuff, then who are these people? What kind of brands are they? What kind of demographic are they? Geographically, where are they? And really kind of create a list of those people. Often businesses will have 5, 6, or 7 different personas, because you're not just selling to one type of person. So really kind of list those out. Number 3 is benefits. Really think about the benefits of what you're offering. Lucy will go into this in much more detail, I think. It's less about product, it's more about benefit. What is it? How are you going to change someone's life? How are you going to make them feel? How is what you're trying to do for them going to help them? What benefit, what problem does it solve? Number 4 is your route to market. So think about how you're going to get your message to these people. So you may be coming here today thinking, well, I want to update my homepage and maybe a few pages on my website, and that's it. Great. You might be thinking, actually, I want to do a leaflet campaign. I want to do more on social media. I want to do some e-newsletters. I want to do an ad campaign in regional media or a trade magazine. Really list out how you're going to hit those people and kind of plan exactly the kind of media and the ways you're going to target them. Because if you do it kind of ad hoc here and there when an offer comes up, or you see something that looks kind of shiny and attractive, you end up going off piste because you think that might be quite good, but it's not necessarily part of what you're really planning to do, and it won't necessarily come back to helping you hit your goals. So really think about how you're going to reach those people. Number 5 is plan ahead, think longer term. So if you are right now thinking, actually, I need to do a campaign for Black Monday or for Christmas donations to my charity, those things are great, but really think about, actually, how does that fit into your 6-month or 12-month plan? Really difficult right now because nobody knows what the world's going to look like in 3 to 6 months time, but if you're not planning for it, then you definitely can't achieve it. And also, if you have great success with Christmas or whatever it is that you're trying to promote in the shorter term, how is that going to be followed up afterwards? So really start to think, and often a really simple way for a retailer is a really good example. You might have a Black Friday campaign, a Christmas campaign, a New Year campaign, a Valentine's campaign, and before you know it, within a few minutes, you've got a really nice list of different themes that you can build things around. And that gives you kind of a longer term picture. 6, budget. Nobody, everybody's got a tiny budget at the moment, of course. But actually think about your time. How much time are you prepared to put into this, and how much money do you really want to? Are you prepared to do in order to get to reap the benefit? So if you want to sell 50 new units or get 100 new donators to your charity, how much are you prepared to spend in order to get that? And really kind of plan that through, so that then when you're planning where your activity and how you activate the campaign, you've got some limits to set yourself, so you don't end up overspending or underspending and not achieving your goal. I guess finally is be prepared to adapt. You might plan for the long term, you might do all that kind of stuff, so you've got a really good idea of where you're going, but you will need to adapt. Things that you think will fly will not fly. Things that you think probably might not be the most important thing might suddenly yield loads of new customers and connections and engagement on your social media or whatever it is you're trying to achieve. So really assess and adapt as you go along. And that's really coming back to those goals you set right at the start. Is what I'm doing helping me to do it? Can I do more of it? Is it working? So really think through how you're going to do that. Set a time, maybe once a month or once a fortnight or once a quarter, whatever it may be that suits you. But really rigidly sit down and look at, how is what I'm doing really affecting me? Is it right? Am I on the right path? Do I need to change what I'm doing? And I think, and that's it really. I think the final thing is just to, if there are some areas where you can do it all yourself, and you can save money, great. But where is expertise needed, pull it in. So if you're not great on Canva designing things and you're finding it frustration, you haven't got enough time, get somebody in to design it for you. If you need help with planning your campaign and deciding where you're going to market yourself, get somebody in to help you to do it. So there are lots of people out there at the moment that will help businesses of all types. So there you go. So over to Lucy for the prettier of the nitty gritty.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, so that's a great outline. It's interesting to know. I know we've got a mixture of different businesses here. Is it possible to unmute Caroline so everybody could just give us a quick hello, their name, their business, and what you do? And it would just help give me a steer in terms of when I'm talking about things.
Yes, if everybody can unmute themselves, you should be able to.
Anybody who wants to, if anybody, but it'd be great to hear from people.
That'd be great.
I tell you, I'll start, and I'm going to throw it over to Jenny, and then after you've done a quick intro, which doesn't need to be very long, pass it over to somebody else. So I'm going to hand over to Jenny O'Neill.
So I'm Jenny O'Neill, and I look after Merton Giving, which is a charitable initiative encouraging people to give in Merton. So that's money, time, skills, or whatever they have, and it's linking the business sector with the charitable sector.
Great. Do you want to pass on to someone else?
I will pass on to Tracy.
Hi, I'm Tracy Waite. I'm Chief Executive of Carers Support Merton, a charity supporting unpaid carers from the age of 5.
Thank you. Do you want to pass on to someone else?
I can go ahead. I'm Bree. I'm from Kudo Cloud. We do VoIP communication, telecommunication services for businesses big and small. And yeah.
You can pass on?
Yeah, sure. Liz?
Hello. Yeah, I'm Liz Newbury. My business is currently in voiceover. I'm a voice artist, so I'm sometimes part of somebody else's campaign, invoicing material for websites, animations, or what have you. But here I am today really looking for reminders and refreshers about how to better promote what I do myself rather than assisting other people's mechanisms.
Super.
Thanks. What about Patrick?
Hi everyone, I'm Patrick Orr. I am a company commercial lawyer at Orr Litchfield. We're business lawyers basically, helping people start up, develop, grow, and ultimately sell their businesses.
Thank you. You want to pass on?
Yes, who's left?
Nathan.
Nathan. He's muted, sorry.
Hi, I'm Nathan Picard. I'm a marketing officer for Polka Theatre, which is a children's theatre. At the moment, we are in redeveloping our whole building, so we are closed, but yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. Does Grace or
Jordan
Jordan want to
Grace, do you want
next?
to say anything? I think they're both on mute, so I'm assuming
It's on mute.
they're
That's
not.
fine. Let's start because we've got really nice. We've got an idea of who's here today. I'm going to start sharing my screen so that I can bring my presentation up. Is it working? Hooray, it's working. Always a relief. Okay, so we're going to be talking about how to design your marketing, all your advertising, everything that you're going to do within a campaign. But the key is also how to win customers and influence others. So the key with this is knowing what you're doing with your advertising and what your goals are for that. So I'm very passionate about this idea that you have a main message and not confusing it with other things. It's very, very easy to start piling in lots of different things when you're promoting something. When we start thinking about promoting our own businesses, we want to put in all the different services that we offer. But actually, so much research shows that the most response comes from when you can directly engage and connect with somebody. So you need to start with one main message, one succinct, clear message that really makes people feel like, oh, that's what I'm interested in at the moment. And people get a bit concerned about having one message rather than putting everything in there. But I can guarantee that actually you get more response by really targeting your audience than trying to have a broad reach and get to everybody. So a broad reach, you know, if you're a kitchen company, you just put kitchens on there, that's fine, but it doesn't really kind of engage me in terms of, do I know this kitchen is for me? Do I know it's in my local area? So we're going to be talking about how to kind of really hone in your message so that you're really telling your audience that this kitchen, your kitchen service, is for you know, that particular audience. And it might be that you're particularly steering towards large kitchens or small kitchens or revamped kitchens or really on-trend kitchens. All of those sorts of things are going to help you decide what your main message is going to be. And when we're thinking around a topic like that, that applies across all industries and sectors. So the message needs to be really simple and it needs to be cohesive throughout the whole of the different elements that you're going to put into your marketing. So that's going to be your title, and that applies across websites, social media, print advertising, digital advertising, and leaflets. So, you know, I'm sure there's plenty of other things. We'll have a look at the whole 360 in a bit, but these rules do apply, even though I've got a lot of examples today from print because I've got the broadest range of that. It's got to be cohesive. So we're going to look at some examples where it's sort of almost there, but just needs to be that little bit more confident in being completely cohesive. We need to make sure that your message has benefits in it. What are the benefits to your audience when they've read your social media post or seen your advert or engaged with your marketing in some way? They need to know what's in it for them. And USP, so this is quite a classic. When I've done these, this sort of, I call it a webinar, but training session or talk with everybody, quite often when we sit down and look at USPs, people write down things that are good about their business but are not unique. So the more unique you can be, again, the more that you will really reach out to your audience. Something that makes your kitchen different to somebody else's kitchen, or your voiceover different to someone else's voiceover offering, or you know, what is it that's different about your law, you know, you're offering your law services to your competitors. So we're going to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now that's a little bit mean. There's no ugly adverts, of course, but there are some common issues, common problems, things that kind of we all do. Now we're all busy. You're all running your business. You're doing your day job, and then suddenly you're meant to be this marketing manager with, you know, skills, photography skills, and writing skills, and you know, all of those sort of skills that actually in our marketing, in our creative agency, we have a team of people who do that. So, you know, we'll have journalists, photographers, designers, marketers, and that we can bring a team together to create something that all of those elements are done to the, you know, best possible degree. But you're doing all of those. So you're swapping your hats over, and, you know, you want to have it to the, you know, the best possible that you possibly can. So we all do it, we're all busy, and we all do an advert at the last minute. But here's some good ones. This is a really good one. Now it's a care home, and we have quite a lot of care homes at the moment who are looking for new residents. But I love this advert because we've got a lovely picture. It's really positive. It tells you who their customer is immediately, but you're really engaged with her. She's really sort of looking at you in a positive way. But the key for me on this advert is the title. Really clear title, very opening. They're opening up their doors of their business and they're telling you what they want. So they've got this title and a call to action. So now welcoming new residents, you know exactly what to do with this advert, and you know whether it's of interest to you within that microsecond of looking at it. There's some body copy. It tells you who's doing it. They've not put in anything into this advert that you don't need to know. So that's quite a skill. The Glass House is a local business. You know, they don't have a big marketing team, so they are doing this right though. They've got nice branding, they've got a great picture, they've got a really good call to action, they've got some nice body copy, and you know where to get it. So you're not distracted. You can look at this advert and it's a really clear, see the service, and then this is the reason to get in touch with them. Now this advert, this is a one-man band. You know, I'm running from a studio. You know, it's not a big operation, but this is surprisingly a really successful advert. Okay, it was in Time and Leisure last month. Just really simple title: Wimbledon Studio Framing, picture framing. It's telling you what they do. There's no questions about it. They've not had to get too complicated. They've gone for just to saying, this is what it does, then, you know, on the tin, without getting clever. They've got some examples of pictures, so they're kind of reiterating their title, and then 10% off, so a call to action. So yeah, you don't have to have a big team to make it work if you follow the structure of what to do. The bad, well, that is not bad. This is not a bad advert. This is a great advert, but they've made a really common mistake, which is, do we know what the title is of this advert? So usually I would say it's the largest bit of writing on the page which becomes the advert, and that's their brand. So theoretically, this is a branding advert that's about promoting the brand. But I suspect what they wanted to do was draw people in with the title. And, you know, it's a nice title. It's a little bit too long, but the title should be the main message. And I think they've got a great message. They've got great images. They've got a really nice trust conviction piece in there. There's not a call to action, but, you know, it does tell you what to do. But you can see how that smaller title, if you look at this, if you glance at it, you don't immediately take the message in that they're trying to tell you. So they're almost there. Curtain call, again, you know, it's fine, but they've just introduced a new message into an advert, and this is a really common problem, that you start off with this perfect advert, and then actually something changes in your business the next month, and you think, let's just add in this and change that, and suddenly you end up with this double title again. So the eye's a bit confused. Now we open curtain call, we don't quite know where to look first. There should be one message which leaps out at us straight away. And ideally, if they could put curtain call, now we open together, that would be the perfect title. So the less is more. I'm sure we've all seen adverts like this, and I'm sure none of you would do this. It doesn't mean that they don't work, but you could make it easier for people to find out what you're offering them. And actually, by putting in lots and lots of information, you're making us work really hard. And I think the question for me is, have you done enough to engage the people that you want to engage through your advert? I think with building blocks, it's a well-known nursery. There's a good element of, there's a logo and a telephone number, but maybe you have to be quite dedicated to kind of want to read each of those bullet points. They're all really important bullet points, but possibly they could have put less bullet points on and sent you to a website for more information, something like that. And Lisa's one, again, lots of different things going on. Great call to action. Pay as you go is the word that leaps out at me, but I'm not sure I've quite been sold the liposuction early enough. It's there, but I just, I'd like to see a simpler message. Elwyn's, this is a great branding advert, but I just find there's quite a lot of different messages going on. They've got a great title and a great subtitle, but I'm a little bit overwhelmed by the different messages. They've got a great, the finalists, that sort of trust and conviction thing is going on. There's lots of positives. And Artfully Sorted, again, a local business, a local person, and their art consultancy. It's a more complicated business to sell because it's not your everyday straightforward, here's a kitchen, here's a charity to donate to. It's come on, we will help you choose art, work with our interior designers. But actually, it's a brilliant service. So I'd like to see a really clear title and telling people, actually, how do I access this service really easily? So something like, I'll come and do a home visit, or, maybe not at this time, but, something that can maybe allow people to do a Zoom walk round or something that just allows people to take the next step. And then Neptune, beautiful advert, very strong. They use this title a lot to different perspective or variations of it. They've got a nice kind of bit of body copy. There is a call to action at the bottom. They've got branding, but mainly this is about picture, isn't it? It's an amazing picture. But if this was your, and they've got, a campaign budget and teams around to do this. But if this was your business on a local level, you might need to work harder to engage people. And you could change up the title with a picture this good. You've got a lot of options you can do. And then the call to action at the bottom could really pop out a lot more to say, come on, come and talk to us. So the point of kind of running through that was to show how we can make it difficult for people to really engage with your adverts and your marketing. And, as there's more and more different means of communication, we are more and more bombarded with this never-ending kind of messaging coming our way. So there is this theory that our attention span has actually dwindled by 4 seconds in the last 10, 20 years. So it was 12 seconds back in the millennium, and now it's 8 seconds, supposedly. And I'm sure we all know that it's reduced. How often do you watch a movie and then just kind of just check in on your phone to do something, or you're having breakfast with the family and someone says put your phone down, or we've got messages coming to us on billboards and newspapers, on your computer, you're doing your emails and then messages pop up. It's non-stop. So we know that our attention span is reducing. We know that we're bombarded with messages, and we're getting so much more sophisticated at blocking them out and only reading what we need to read. So theoretically on this, a goldfish has, say, 5 to 9 second memory. We're kind of on a par with them. But this is what you're kind of dealing with in marketing. You've got to go and grab their attention straight away and engage them before they've switched off or moved on to the next thing. So ADA, our favourite acronym, it's an oldie but a goodie. We've talked about attention. You've got to grab their attention really instantly, and you're going to do that through title or picture. Those are the things that are going to draw people in. If they like, the Neptune picture, if they're thinking about a kitchen, they're going to look at that image straight away. It's not always that simple, because quite a lot of us have businesses that don't necessarily have an end product. We're doing services or a people-orientated business or an experience or an arts thing. So you've got to work hard to grab their attention, and we'll look at some of those things and how you can do that. Interest. So you've got to engage their interest through some of the imagery, body copy, telling them that this is for them. So once you've grabbed their attention, then you want to engage their interest, and then you've got to build some desire. Like, they need this product, they need your service in their lives. And then the final thing is to make sure you put in some action. And I have to say, that's out of all of those 4 things, it's the action which is most often forgotten. So here's my checklist, and I'm very happy to share this, or to share the notes, but you know, this is the one that you should just have your tick box with you. You'll use this to create your main kind of marketing content, and then as you go across different mediums, you may be able to drop some of those things. You can never drop your call to action, but you may in some situations drop some of the copy, contact details you need in some but not others. So you will mix and match a bit, and in other areas you'll have more copy that you can put in, say like on blogs and leaflets. So, but you're still using this as your base for everything you're going to do, and trust me, it does work. We do this across landing pages, leaflets, print advertising, digital advertising, blogs on websites, and if you don't follow this formula, you miss out some of the key things in terms of your attention and interest. So just going back, normally I start and I run through the title, subtitle, picture, copy, call to action. But today I've decided to go backwards, just because the most cardinal sin that's always forgotten is your call to action. But this is the most important one. And actually it's probably the starting point for you planning your marketing anyway. You're thinking, I want to grow my business. How am I going to grow my business? I've got a new service, or I'd like to get some new customers. So how am I going to bring them in through the door? And you start planning out your marketing campaign. But it's so often the one that's then left off. So you've done all the hard work, you've created your budget, your campaign, your visuals, and then you're not telling, I say you know, it happens to everybody, doing the vital thing of saying, this is your next step. Now, there's plenty of customers out there who will find the next step for themselves, but why give them that chance? Why leave it up to, you know, whether or not they remember to do it the next time they're on a website or next time they're in town and they're popping in? You've got to really, really engage them and make sure that you're telling them what to do. In the very old days, we used to do coupons, and people used to tear them out and put them in their purses. And you know, how many times did we forget to even use our coupons or whatever? But what's the equivalent now? Perhaps it's to go and read some more information on a website, or you know, get 10% off once you've, you know, read this. And but you know, it's hard enough to remember to do the things we've got to do on a daily basis. So it's about getting yourself up there, up people's priority list. And the better your call to action is, the more effective it is. It might mean the more you have to give away, but it might not. You have to give. You've got to give them a reason, give people a reason to come and walk in through your door, whether it's virtual or real. So one of the things you can do is give away information. Visit your website, and then you can create a nice landing page. So and you can lead to that from all sorts of different marketing things that you're doing, from social media, advertising, print and digital, or blogs, but you're wanting them to go to a specific landing page, which is going to give them the next bit of information they need. So you're going to be solving a problem for them, something that they need to know. You might want to come visit your showroom or shop because you've got something that they can try out physically, you know, or see something physically, or that you can do a demonstration. If you've launched a new product or a service, you want to tell everybody all about that. What do they then do with that new product or service? Can they can book in a consultation for you to trial it out. An event, events are really successful because they have a time and a date to them and a specific call to do something on a certain date. There's that fear of missing out. If I'm thinking about a kitchen and there's this amazing kitchen event and a chef demonstrating, a chef that you really like locally that's demonstrating how to make ratatouille, then people will book in for that, and that way you've created this lovely funnel of what to do next. Sales are really common things to do. You want to clear stock, or you want to, colour sales happening this time of the year with hair salons. Discount and offer is the first protocol that everybody thinks, but and it does work. It obviously is a high volume response rate. That is where you will get most success, and you will appeal to a wide audience. That's, for a lot of people, it will be a reason to get out of bed, but not for probably less than around 20%. 10% people are thinking, oh, well, is it really worth more? Is it really going to make me, is it worth me thinking about this much more? So 20% is a kind of a magic number there. But a lot of people don't want to offer a discount. They feel like it's devaluing their product or service, which is just really not kind of expected in your industry. So sometimes you can offer an extra, an added benefit, an extra incentive, or something, buy this and get this for free. So it might be, that you need a certain service, but you'll get a free will writing service on the side of it or something. And a closing date. So don't forget to give everybody a closing date, a deadline, something to do it by, because again, we'll just put it into the back of our minds, and then before you know it, it's 2021 and you haven't done anything about it. So start with your call to action, and then hopefully you can't go wrong. Here's a good call to action. A really brilliant business in Wimbledon. They have led their main message, they've led with their call to action. They've given you a deadline, it's throughout September. So you're thinking, oh, actually, this is quite a good call. It's immediately put into your head why you'd want to go and pop into that showroom. So they've got your offer, your deadline, and then visit our showroom. They're really telling you what to do here. It's great. It stops any kind of, what should I do? Should I go to the website? Should I research it a bit more? Shall I talk to my friends about it? All those different things that we do when we're thinking about buying something new. Here they've created the perfect funnel. I'm going to talk about the body copy next, because I want to go, we're going kind of in reverse, so that to help you when we finally get round to creating a title. So quite often when somebody's writing a story, they'll write the story first and come up with the title last. And this, I think, is also another way of doing it. So I would suggest with your body copy, you want to keep it quite simple. You want some nice, keep it bullet points, really accessible for people. We don't tend to read lots of copy unless we really have to. And that's becoming more and more true as we, we skim everything. We skim, particularly online. We're now doing that with everything that we see. We'll skim and we'll only stop when we've got something that really we feel of as interest. So bullet points are quite a good way to break down that information. In that, you want to get some really good, unique selling points and genuine selling points, genuinely unique features and benefits of what you're offering. So those benefits, it all comes down to what's in it for me. We're really selfish. We're really kind of just thinking about, how is this going to improve my life? How is this going to get me the lifestyle that I want? How is this going to solve problems in my life? And that you're going to be doing that through your features and benefits. And don't include everything you do. If you're tempted to, put it out and say, no, I'm going to do that next month. Put that into your longer term campaign. I thought this was funny last night. I made up my own acronym. So this is a SNOG. So you're going to share, you're going to give something to your reader, to your audience. Tell them something they don't know. Give them, you're all experts in your own field. What is it you can tell them that will help them further down their path in what they want to know? You're also experts in your field. So, are you the first doing something? Are you, your fingers on the pulse? You can, again, be like seen as a leader in your field. And that's another way of, particularly on social media, leading the way and engaging and influencing other people by showing that leadership, sharing that information. We would say that conviction and trust is really important, because you are across multimedia, there's different elements of trust. People trust print perhaps a bit more because they feel it's familiar, that they know it, and online there's a sort of, things come and go so quickly that there's less trust. So you've got to work harder on those elements of trust, or just go straight in with an amazing offer and just go for price. But there are other ways that you can do it. If you don't want to go down the race to the bottom on price, you've got to then elevate yourself above and bring out these really sort of reasons to choose your business, and some extra benefits again. So that's call to action. What are the extra benefits that they will get from using your business? So yeah, this is normally where I start, creating a really great title. And I thought this is a really good case study that we've worked with a lot in print and digital. The advert on their left is a more recent advert that they did probably a couple of years ago. Extending just got easier. And I think this is great because it's less than 5 words. And we like our titles to be really short and succinct. You need to read it in an instant, you need to read it before you've even read it. And at the same time, the picture is reinforcing that title so perfectly that the two are totally in tune with each other. There's a lot of body copy there, that's fine, but it doesn't really matter, because if you're looking at an extension, I think you'd be willing to read that. And then they've told you to phone them, that's fine. They could have worked harder on a call to action, but the key is their title, Extending Just Got Easier. So you've got what they're doing, and then you're just resolving a problem for them, because we always think, oh, it's such a hard work, isn't it? Kind of, if you're going to have a major project done in your house, they're solving your problem for you, just feeling like you're going to take all of that away from me and we're going to sort it out for you. So it's a very, very clever title to be able to kind of tick 2 boxes in one, solving problems and telling them what you're going to do. So if you can try and do that with a title, that's great. But if not, we've got our subtitle, which we'll talk about next. But the first advert they ever did with us, and this is going back quite a few years, I hate to say, is we are a loft conversion company with an environmental focus run by really nice people. And I have to say, it's an exception to the rule because it's really long, but they do so much in this title that it really, really works for them. And it doesn't feel very long. It sort of feels like you can kind of pick out elements like loft conversion company, environmental, really nice people. But actually they've just put it into this beautiful sentence that's really reassuring. You feel like they're going to be a nice business to deal with, and there's a lot of builders out there that can, we always feel like it's going to be a difficult process, whereas they've kind of just gone straight in and said, this is going to be easy for you. So this is hard, and I don't see that a lot of businesses have created these long sentences that work. But what I'm saying is there are exceptions to the rules, and if you're not sure about those, stick to the 5 or less words. But if you think you can kind of break outside it and take the risk, that it can work. So subtitles, and a couple of good examples of subtitles. Luxury retirement village, brilliant, just says exactly what it is. There's lots of different types of care, and I really like the way that they followed up with this, apartments and care home. So your eye is drawn to the very strong luxury retirement village, and then if you're at all inclined to, you will follow up with that. And on the right hand side, everybody's favourite Wimbledon International Music Festival. Again, title really works. You immediately know that that's the content of this advert. And then even though it's the same size, because they put it into black, it recedes a bit back. It's online from Friday the 13th of November. So in their sort of smaller subtitle, they're telling you exactly what the next element is that you need to know. So you can look at the top, know if it's of interest to you or not, move on if it's not. But if it is of interest, you'll look at when it's happening, do pictures to kind of engage with, and see, okay, which artists are there, and then a nice call to action, book now. So they're not giving anything away here, but they are telling you what to do, and I really like that. They've given you 2 ways to do that, website and phone number. But the book now is such a clear call to action. You know, so in terms of like giving a call to action, you don't need to make it a discount. If that said 50% off tickets before this Friday, it might make you go and book your tickets now. So this is where you're in control of what your audience is doing. Images. It's brilliant these days. Everyone's so much more image savvy than we used to be, and we've got so many great options of where to find images. We've obviously got lovely Shutterstocks and picture libraries. I've got a short list of things, but it does make our lives much easier. These 2, however, are not library images. I think they both have taken their own photography. And this might be a step too far, but I just wanted to show how brilliant it is when you can get great photography. And I absolutely love this advert on the right-hand side. Again, for me, it just ticks all the boxes. This incredible image which totally captures your attention. Who would not like hair like that? Telling you how to get it, telling you how much it is, giving you an offer, and then telling you where to go. Sean Hannah. It's a really brilliant advert, that. So the image does a lot to create the desire for your audience. It's that sort of like, oh, must have that. Yes, I'd like a home like that. I'd like a business like that. I'd like friends like that. I'd like a night out like that. All of those things. The image is setting the scene, and it can actually say a lot of things that you can't really write into words. So that's almost what you're looking for with your image. What is it that you're communicating to people that will help them know that this is just spot on for them? Oh, just left this one blank. Do you need contact details or not? I did do this on purpose. We used to have adverts which had big phone numbers on them. It was almost like it was all a bit yellow pages, really. You know, those days are gone. I believe if you want to spend your space connecting, engaging, creating attention and desire, and actually once you've done all of that, people will find your contact details. And I think this applies on your website, you know, the about us, the email details. People will find that once you've really got them on the right path and feeding them down that funnel. So if your offer and your next step is good enough, the contact details almost don't matter. Obviously on digital advertising, you don't really need it at all, because you're going to be saying your call to action will be a click through, unless you're doing just a straightforward branding exercise. Is it important or not? I think that's up to you, but I would say you don't need to take up valuable space. So just to go back to our checklist, we've run through each of these different sections. A reminder really that you just need to make sure that they're all following the same theme. So, you know, if it's an event, it's usually straightforward because everything around that will be something to do with the event. When it's a new service in your business, make sure it's all to do with that new service, and don't bring in all the different services that you offer. So you're really going to create continuity through these elements. And these elements are going to apply through all of your different channels. So all the different things that you'll be doing, you know, when you're creating content on your website, a blog, you still need to be thinking along these lines. You don't have the luxury of thinking, well, you know, I can just write what I like, I'm the expert here, or you're going to want to have a really attention-grabbing headline that tells people exactly what it is that this piece is about. It's going to work with your SEO, and when you fed people there, you want to let them know that they're in the right place. So here's a nice example of a landing page. It's a local business. I'm sure a few of you will be familiar with Sylvia. And this is a project we did with Sylvia earlier in the year from our creative agency, where she was launching a new service and wanted to spruce up her homepage to make it more engaging and to really communicate what it is she actually does. And we felt that there was definite room for improvement in terms of a main title, a main image, and a call to action that connect with what those titles and pictures are saying, body copies, and then also, you know, part of that, the personality of Sylvia and who she is and her expertise, so that trust and conviction. So on the left-hand side is her homepage as it looked when we started speaking to Sylvia. And it's fine, it's a really nice looking website. We didn't feel like that the actual overall look needed to change, it's great, but we did feel it could really communicate better what it is that she's doing. So when people land there, they know why they're there and what they're going to do about it and what is their next step. So the key was to get people to book their safety audits for opening their restaurants. And, you know, it's a very sort of moment of the time. It's going to be, you know, I think it was a 3 to 6 month period. So it needs to go straight to the matter of it. So the title's really good, Safety Audits for Reopening, Get Back in Business Safely and Assure. So again, like really like bringing that interest around to people, creating that desire of why they need to use Sylvia's services. And then in a way, the body copy. So we want all your main messages, your main title, your subtitle, your picture, and your call to action above the fold, as it were, in your first window that you go to. And then all your body copy can drop down. People will then scroll for body copy, then more information. That's where you're going to be building trust, a communicating personality, trust and conviction, and then, you know, sort of next steps as well if they've not done it at the top. So that's a landing page. Very happy to take more questions on that. Here's an example of an architect who has done a 360 in terms of print, digital, and blogging, really launching his business and making sure he's got a call to action. He's got a great title. Title changes slightly on the website because it needs to be more succinct and to the point. But essentially, it's the same, part of the same campaign and really communicating the same messaging. The digital ad, which is in the middle, is book a free consultation now. Good, strong call to action. You know, you can just click on it and it takes you through to the next step. And we've got, this is an image of headmasters advertising. This is a classic, 50% off now. You know, you click on it immediately, it takes you through to really easy booking system. You know, it's classic digital advertising. It's very strong, it really works. High click-throughs, generating an instant increase in customers that month for the business. And I think it's nice branding as well, the way they've done it. You know, it's not cheapened their brand, but it's definitely making me want to book in with them, and I am going to. I've taken this from another website because I thought this is really interesting in terms of what they're advising. This is from SEMrush. And they're talking about empathizing with your audience and keeping their attention. And obviously with social media, you've got lots more in terms of different ways to engage them, like polls and questions and direct feedback. But essentially they're saying the same things. Make content skimmable, include headers and lists, use images and GIFs. What else have we got here? Avoid overselling, avoid overwriting. You're keeping it quite simple. And then you've got those other things that you can do on social media. I just think that it's just, for me, it was an example to show that actually across everything we're doing, the advice is the same. You need good, skimmable content that people can then immediately engage with and know this is for them. So just to wrap up, you're going to be doing, you're going to be creating your marketing campaign. You've got one main message, which is really direct and focused and clear to your audience. You're going to create your attention, interest, desire, and action. You're going to tell your audience exactly what's in it for me, because that's the thing that's going to engage them and think, yes, I need this product, this service. You're going to refer back to the design checklist and make sure that all of the different elements of your marketing all are in line with what you're doing. You've not added in any other sneaky extra bits. And then you're never, ever, ever going to forget a call to action again. So that's it. Thank you very much. I'm going to hand back to Mike, who's going to just wrap up for us. I hope that was useful, and I look forward to having some questions later. I'm going to stop sharing.
Yeah, hi all. Yeah, I think that kind of all the way through that, the things that you're getting is lots of things about call to action, lots of things about engagement, but actually it's all about monitoring this all the way through. So the key for this is once you've set your goals right at the start, and then you devise your campaign around that, whether it's long term or short term, is that you then monitor that all the way through. So you understand what it's doing. And so you understand that what is working, what isn't working, and then you can adapt. And I think the key thing at the moment, and particularly for those of you who look at this from a digital point of view, is you can test, you can change. You don't have to stick to the plan forever. You can try different things. You can A/B test. You can try and be quite wild, because it'll be forgotten within a week or two anyway on digital. So you can really kind of try different things and be a bit bold and brave, particularly in digital, I think. So absolutely. So plan your campaign and make sure you monitor it and really think about what you're getting back for each of those elements. And a lot of Lucy's tips, and particularly things like call to action, will help you to be able to monitor that in print, in digital. You'll be able to see exactly what you're getting back for it. So that's it, really. So if you like if anyone would like a one-to-one to kind of talk through on your side, then really happy to do that and make it more specific to you. No obligation to do anything with that at all, but happy to do that. And I guess any questions to the floor, I suppose.
Mike and Lucy, thank you so much for that. A really, really insightful and practical. I think I was mapping out some things, and I'm sure everyone else was as well. So it sort of fills your brain, doesn't it, with all these ideas that we can go and do. I am conscious of the time because we are up on time, but if people are happy to stay, I'm happy to host it for another 15 minutes. So are there any questions? Points of detail? Go on, Patrick.
Can we, I don't know if you do this or not, can we possibly get a copy of slides so we can, with our small goldfish, less than goldfish brains, sadly, revisit them? It's always quite a nice way of going back through it and then speaking to you and trying to get our minds around what you've said. Really, really good presentation, both. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Patrick. Yeah, no, very happy. I'll share the notes with the chamber, and then they can email them around to everybody. Yes, I know there's a lot to take in, and hopefully the checklist is something that is kind of going to be useful, and that will trigger a lot of kind of the points that we've talked about today, because there's a lot of different elements to think about.
Yeah, but also the do's and don'ts, and showing us what other people have done and what you think is good and bad. And whilst when we see them, perhaps we'll remember some of them and be able to bring that into our thought process. So that was actually really great to be talked through.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree. I think always showing examples really brings it to life, doesn't it? So yeah, thank you, Lucy and Mike, for that. Anything else that anyone would like to ask or add? Okay. I think there's so much there, but I do think a bit like Patrick, I will go away and reflect on that, and we go from there, don't we? So I think.
And absolutely, it's when you're next sitting down and looking at doing you're drafting something up, obviously questions will come up, but Mike and I are around to help. So connect with connect on LinkedIn and ask questions, you know, that's our job. We're here to help. So yes.
And you know, the important thing is, as you said, Lucy, it applies right from corporates down to one-person bands. The challenge, I think, to small businesses is, as you said, is you don't have all that skill set in you. So, you know, getting good photography, getting good design, all of that are real challenges, aren't they, for small businesses? So
Yeah.
I think.
And I think if in any doubt, keep it simple. You know,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Don't overcomplicate it. You know, we saw the example of the Framers. That is a one-man band, and you know, he's got a day job. So, but he got the elements right. So, yeah, it works.
Good. Yeah. Thank you. Well, we'll circulate that and also the recording. So obviously you expanded on those slides quite a lot. So yeah, the words will also be very useful. So a big thank you to Lucy and Mike for that today. I just wanted to wrap up by saying that we are continuing with these Reach Out and Connect sessions, and we also have a couple of new things. So the next one we have is on the 12th of November there, which is about Google, this thing that everyone needs to be on Google and up the rankings and everything. We're also moving to a new networking platform called Remo. We did our first event on that last week, and this is really about business to business. So we have our Take Time to Network. The next one is really targeting the creative industries, because obviously they are the ones that, well, one sector that is really struggling right now. So we want to support them by doing that event. And we also have a couple of new services that are out in our e-newsletter and on our website and everything. I'm sure you'll heard of them. Just quickly, the government's Kickstart scheme. This is where the government is subsidising a new job in your organisation. You have to be an employer. The person is subsidised for up to 25 hours a week on national minimum wage. And we are operating as a representative for businesses that want just one or more places. So the government requires people to apply for 30 places at a go. So we're a local representative organisation if you're interested in that. And the other one there is peer networks. Actually, we can look at this, Lucy, in terms of the messaging there. So create a trusted support network is the main message there. This has been designed by government, I hasten to add, with just our logo on there at the footer with Business Clan, who we're working with. But it's about working with a network of businesses through action learning sessions. So again, if you are interested in that, there are some criteria as well in terms of eligibility. But I just wanted to mention those. And just to reiterate, you know, we're still here to support business. That's our main message, and we're doing that through these type of information advisory sessions, our business to business, and then offering the services that government is rolling out to support the recovery of the economy. So please keep in touch. There we are, all our landing pages there. And once again, thank you to Lucy and Mike. Thank you all for today. Any questions, please come back, and we look forward to seeing you all very soon. So thank you very much. Have a good day.